Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and in this video, I'm going to do something that I've been gearing up to do for a long freaking time. Ever since the beginning of this channel, really. I'm going to shoot out every single Surfy, Drippy, Springy reverb pedal that I have. I have so many here that they don't even all fit in my overhead shot. I've got there's Surfy Bear metal here, a great big reverb unit, and then of course, the Fender Unit, the granddaddy, the source, the thing. All of these are basically trying to do in one way or another. So how am I going to do this? That is an important question. I'm going to try to do it fairly so that you can get a really fair representation of the best of what each can do, shooting for that surfy kind of sound. I'm going to record a loop to a looper pedal, and I'm going to put it before each one of these and record the loop going through each one of these at its optimal setting, to me anyways. And then I'm going to put timestamps down in the description so that you can jump around and do side-by-side comparisons if you want to, if that'll help you, if you're shopping between two of these and you need to hear them side by side. Hopefully that'll be a resource for you. And then after that, I'll come back and revisit each one by itself and kind of give my final thoughts on each one of these reverbs. I'm hoping this will be kind of the end of this series in a way. I'm going to continue to cover Drippy reverbs, but I don't think I'm going to do any more massive shootouts again because honestly, this is too many. This is too much. I need to sell some of these just to make space. So after this, I'll be deciding, not in this video, but probably later, which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I'm not going to keep. And in future videos, I'll just do simple comparisons against, ones that I think are appropriate. So anyways, let's get into it. Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna need to clean my ears after that one. So many drips, so many high frequencies bouncing around. All right, let's get into kind of my final thoughts with each reverb now. I'm gonna start with the Fender Unit because of course. I mean, like I said earlier, it's the granddaddy. It's the source. This is what so many of these products are trying to sound like, and I'm glad there are so many products trying to sound like this now. I will say, though, this thing is inconvenient. It can sound great, but you got to haul it around. It's got a lot of big cable mess that comes with it. This is for the foot switch, and then it's got the big power cord and stuff. It actually kills a lot of volume. The signal coming out of the unit going to the amps is significantly quieter than if I was just running straight in. So you have to adjust your whole life around it, basically. This becomes like the central part of your rig. If you're someone who likes to push your amp into distortion, that can become an issue if you're trying to do it with this in line, even if you've got it turned off. It just sucks a lot of volume out. Here it is in, with it off, and I'll plug direct in from my guitar. It's measurably louder without the reverb in the signal path. That being said, the people who buy these and use them in band setups or use them as part of their sound, especially in surf rock, typically leave them always on. So how much of an issue is it actually? But like I said, it's just kind of inconvenient. And there's a lot of upkeep that goes with these. You know, I bought this one used, obviously. It's a reissue. I had to replace the spring tank because the spring tank went bad on it. Tubes can go bad on it. You know, cables can go bad on it. They need repairs. You know, you want to do the thing. You can hear this one's got a bad connection somewhere. That splash like sputtered in and out. Maintenance is required with these units. They're big and they're expensive, which is partly why I'm so glad there are other options now. Now I'm going to cut to the chase pretty damn quick here. I think the Surfy Bear, the metal and the classic. This is the metal. The classic has a Tolex wrap around it and it doesn't have the volume control. But I think those two units are the closest I've found to sounding pretty much dead on to the Fender unit without so many of those inconvenience issues. There is a bit of inconvenience here that these need special power. They need 12 volts, one full amp, and it takes up a ton of space. Not as much as the Fender unit, that's for sure. But the sound quality of these, and on the metal you get a volume control, on the classic you don't, it's fantastic. It does the thing. It does it louder. It does it more conveniently. It does it cheaper. I think the Surfy Bear is the choice for the modern surf rock guitarist. I just do. That was a sloppy noodle. It's too good. Moving on to the Surfy Bear Compact. This one's obviously smaller, making it more convenient than the metal, the full-size metal, but because it's smaller, it has a smaller spring pan, a different spring pan, so it's going to sound different. It also has more options built in. It has a mixer selector, so you can have 2 different mixes, which is pretty damn fantastic in my opinion. There's a bit of a compromise here to go smaller. You get a different sound, but I think the sound is close enough that for my pedal board, this is the choice I've made for my regular gigging pedal board. I've got a surf pedal board for if my surf band ever plays ever again that I'll use the full-size metal on. It obviously doesn't sound bad. It obviously sounds really good. It's got that true, actual spring drip to it. It emulates that Fender circuit so nicely. It just sounds slightly different than that long spring. It doesn't sound worse, just slightly different. I think the longer spring of the metal and the classic to like lean into that Fender Unit sound a little bit closer. But man, this thing is pretty great. It's really great, honestly. All right. Get the special power out of the way so I don't accidentally fry anything with 1 amp of 12 volts. Topanga. I used this one legitimately a lot with my surf band. It was really common for me to stack this after the Boss pedal because this one tames a lot of the ice pick highs pretty good. I have it dialed to be pretty hot in the mix and pretty bright right now, but it has this nice kind of like mellow and lush thing happening. And the trail is just so pretty on it. It doesn't really drip. It kind of has like a click, but the tonality and the voice is there, which is why I still count this as a surfy reverb. Still a legitimate choice all these years later. Good job, Cattle and Bread. All right. The Boss, the FRV1. This was pretty much the first drippy reverb pedal that I was aware of on the market that was doing a decent job of hitting that sound. It hasn't held up. Fantastic. It's got this clank to it. It has this very digital sound. The ice pick highs are a real issue with this pedal. Oh man. But it was kind of the first to get pretty close, the first to kind of give you that drippy reverb unit sound in a pedal format. They're discontinued now. They sell for more than they probably should, especially with all the other options that are available now. But I'm still kind of fond of it. I'll keep it around. Maybe I won't though. If they're still selling for a lot of money, maybe I won't. Oh boy. Oh boy, here we go. The TC Electronic Drip. This was part of their smorgasbord line of pedals. They were billed as being like $50, $60 pedals. TC Electronic. This one's just kind of like hilariously weird. Has this cascading delay sort of thing to give you the approximation of a drip and a bouncy spring reverb. It's so weird. I wonder if someone's gonna find like their signature sound with it, just because it's different, you know? I don't think they even sell them anymore. All right. This is one I can still wholeheartedly recommend to anyone who's surf curious, who's drip curious. It has a few issues, but it delivers that drip sound on a relatively low budget. And a lot of drip too. Probably had it too high in the initial comparison back there. You can also change the reverb tank length when you go into the mode switch. Get a little extra drip. We'll put it back on middle. And you double tap it and it gives you a simulated like spring crash, which is fun and funky. Yeah. If you're surf curious, I can totally recommend it as like a starter reverb unit. Now this one is interesting because it's not intended to be an outboard reverb, drippy, springy, surfy style reverb. It's intended to be like an amp style reverb. It's made by Milkman Amps. It's the f-stop. But it delivers just the right amount of drip for me to put this on a regular pedal board and be like, oh, I've got like a drippy option if I want it, or it can just kind of act as like a regular reverb. It does a really decent job of capturing like that surfy kind of vibe, and it has a built-in tremolo. I can fully recommend this pedal. If you need something truly representing an outboard Fender reverb drip, this probably isn't the way to go. But if you're kind of non-traditional in your surfiness, or you just want to kind of dabble in it, you want something that approximates it every now and then, I think this is a really good option for kind of the everyday guitarist that wants to dabble in that sound every now and then. Now this one is weird. This one's fun. This is the Anasounds Element. It features an external reverb spring tank, and you can buy them in 3 different sizes. And honestly, you don't need to buy their printed official reverb tanks. You can buy whatever tank you want. Reverb pans, by the way, are dirt cheap, like 20, 30 bucks, something like that. So you buy one of these, you can swap pans. I did an experiment in my initial video where I swapped the pan for one from a Fender Unit, and it sounded a lot closer. It didn't sound perfect, but it sounded a lot closer. In the shootout earlier, this sounded kind of murky compared to a lot of the other stuff. But let's explore it and explore this little switch here that does something pretty wild. It really doesn't do the drip thing. And even though it has a spring, the reason for that is that it doesn't emulate the circuit of the Fender Unit. It's a different circuit than an outboard Fender surfy, drippy sort of reverb experience. That's why it sounds different. It can sound closer with a different spring pan, but that's a different situation. This switch turns the spring reverb into kind of a fuzz, distortion, overdrive sort of thing, and it gets wild and loud really quick. It's kind of chaos. It actually gets closer to a drip. I'm wincing because it's so loud. It actually gets closer to a drip on that setting, but there's so much distortion involved. This is for people that want to do something very different. This one I included simply because it is the reverb that I've been using in the Affordaboard series. It also highlights something that a lot of pedals that try to do the surfy sound do and are kind of failing when they do it, in that they don't really do a drip, they do a pre-delay or slapback or stacked echo sort of thing. As far as the Affordaboard goes, I use this because I really like the trail. I think it sounds pretty. It gets me close to a surfy sound. Not technically a drip. But for the money, this is a decent reverb. That slapback, that pre-delay kind of gives you more of like a rockabilly sort of sound. Another affordable pedal, the Zoom Multi-Stomp. This is a surprising one. When I bought this, I was not expecting to find a passable drippy reverb in it. It's more of like a splash than a drip, and there's like a digital element to it where you can kind of feel a delay pulsing throughout, but it really hits that tone. It gets you into surf territory. It's the sort of thing where live, the audience wouldn't know the difference. Recording, I don't think I'd record like a surf album with this, but if you're, if you need to scratch that itch every now and then in a track or something like that, or with your band to explore if you want the sound, these are really affordable to pick up. Used, new, whatever. And there's a ton of crazy stuff in there too. And there's people who have figured out how to hack them, and you can load pretty much all other zoom effects onto them. This one's interesting. Mr. Black Super Swell. Very lush sounding reverb. But it's kind of murky, and my experience with it has been that the drip is very dependent on pickup output. It really likes hot pickups to get that drip. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. You guys tell me, what do you think of the Mr. Black Super Swell? To me, it's a different beast than a classic Fender Unit sort of sound. It's kind of murky, it's kind of dark. It has a drip to it. Maybe this is the perfect tool for someone doing like an ambient, shoegazy sort of take on a surf sound. But for the people looking for a straight ahead classic emulation of the Fender Unit, there's just things about it that they just hit funny. I don't know how else to say that. Does that make sense? A pedal from Fender themselves. The Tre-Verb. Tre-Verb? I think it's Tre-Verb. Like Trevor. This is Trevor. Let me introduce you to my friend Trevor. Different shirt on a different day. I had to come in and reshoot this part because I made a major mistake. For some reason, Fender decided that on this pedal, and I caught it earlier in the video, I messed it up at this point, they decided to reverse the mono in to the mono out on this pedal. I don't get it. I don't know why they did that. If anyone has a clue, tell me. So anyways, when I had it plugged in the wrong way, I think it was only passing the wet signal or something like that. I don't know. It sounded bad. There we go. It sounded much worse than it should anyway. That makes way more sense. believe I didn't catch that while I was recording this the first time. I was thinking, I remember this thing sounding a lot better. What is going on? I think it's a fairly decent offering from Fender, the original manufacturer of the original unit. It just really doesn't jump out as my favorite. It's missing something. There's some sort of tonality that's missing for it to be quite what I would choose as like a surfy option. But if you're looking for something that will fill your signal out and give you a nice big ambient reverb and kind of hint at like retro vibes and stuff like that, I think it's good. I think it's fine. I think the tremolo is the main attraction here. Sounds a little bit too like murky and dark while also being a little bit too bright too. I've got the tone back pretty far. Maybe my ears are just tired from a long day of shooting and editing and stuff like that. What do you guys think? You tell me what you think about this. And if you've got one and you like it, that's fantastic. On to the next thing, right? All right, the Danelectro Spring King. This is one I get asked about a lot because it has a spring in it. And it has, you know, the correct controls and whatnot, and it has a cool look and a kick pad. You can kick it around and get that splash. It's actually better than I first reviewed it when I first got this. You gotta turn it all the way up though. Now this is kind of cheating because it's not relying solely on the spring inside to produce its sound. It's stacking it with a delay circuit. In fact, a lot of people buy these and they modify them to turn them further into a delay. You can kind of hear that delay bounce in the signal, but you also get some spring character, but it doesn't sound nearly as good as the Surfy Bear Compact, which is actually smaller. It's less expensive. You can get these like $100 a lot of the time, or not so much with this. But if you're trying to seek out that true surf sound, I mean, this is the clear winner here. But for $100, I can't tell you not to buy a Spring King. Just know that it's not fully a true, you know, Fender outboard sort of sound, but you can kind of cheat it into, you know, hitting that territory, and they look cool. The kick pad is just a suggestion. You can kick this anywhere and it does the same thing. Really, to get that splash, you need to rattle it or drop it. You really gotta wail on the kick pad to get anything out of it. But, I mean, if you're looking for a long, springy trail, with a bit of like a sweet drip on the edge, I can't tell you not to buy this. I think it works. All right, last one, I think. Yeah, last one. And of course I have other reverbs, but they don't live in the surf kind of territory. This is the True Spring by Source Audio. They came out with the Ventress, which had a outboard reverb model on it. They sent me that. I gave it a pretty good demo, showed off what it can do, and then they put that and some other sort of patches into the True Spring for people who just want that sound. For a digital emulation of a Drippy spring reverb, I think they did a great job. I think it's really good. It's slightly different flavor than like the real deal sound from a Surfy Bear or the Fender Unit, or even the Ocean's 11, which I think gets really close to kind of the more annoying characteristics of a surfy, drippy reverb. But this has a really nice balance to it. It has a really nice character to it. I think they did a great job capturing that surfy sound. It honestly sounds pretty sweet. I remember hearing the Ventress for the first time at NAMM through headphones and just being like, yes, yes, they've done it. Because previously the best I had was the Boss and the Topanga, and they just brought so much more to the table with this sound. All right, I'm gonna bring my favorites into shot here. I don't need to play them anymore. But I think this is going to be kind of my collection of ones I can recommend / I'm going to keep. I'm not going to put the big Surfy Bear up here, but it is in the grouping. All right, these are pedals I think I can fully recommend to someone who is shopping for a surfy drip sort of sound. The Surfy Bear offerings being the best. They just flat out are the best at this. Honestly, even versus the Fender Unit, because there's so many inconveniences with the Fender Unit. I honestly am thinking about selling the Fender Unit because of the Surfy Bear pedals. I will probably keep it because it's nice to have around. It's the sort of thing where once I sell it, I'll never have one again, probably. I can't imagine myself buying another one. And it makes me feel like I have some sort of clout. to own the real thing. But man, there's a lot of inconveniences there. And the sound quality of these is spectacular. What else do I say about it? That being said, as far as getting really close to a true surfy, drippy sort of sound, I think these two are the clear standouts as a pedal format. This is great for people who want to dabble with that and maybe discover it on the cheap. These two, the Topanga and the F-Stop by Milkman, these are just great all-around reverbs for people who want to have a spring-style reverb on their board. Maybe necessarily don't want to commit to a fully drippy, surfy sound, but they just sound great. These are just great sounding pedals, flat out. They do give you a bit of a surfy voice, but they aren't a full-on surf drip. But still, they're just fantastic. So that's it. I'm probably going to sell a bunch of these now just to make room. It's getting ridiculous, guys. I can't keep everything. So keep an eye out on Reverb. I'll probably make a post somewhere when I list a bunch of things. I actually need to get envelopes from the post office. They have not been sending me the envelopes that I've been ordering. So when I get those, I'm probably going to sell a bunch of stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike. Leave me rude and nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. You know the whole deal. Buy a shirt down below and stay grounded. Bye, everybody.